So what we are going to discuss in servers and services about without server, how can we connect and communicate to the other system? So it's all part of communication. So the communication between two systems, communication from one system, like that is a small difference is there. So what are these things? What is the peer-to-peer means what? What is server? What is the client? What is how the client will get certain service from the server? How client will send a request and server will provide that related services. And what is a work group? What is a domain environment? Then what is an Active Directory? What is DHCP server? What is DNS server? How name resolution is happen? How DHCP server will give IP address? These are all we are going to discuss under this topic. The first one, what we are going to discuss is about peer-to-peer, server and client, different types of servers and their services, service-related servers, operating system, server operating system, server hardware, and basic what is meant by data center. Okay. The first thing is it's a peer-to-peer. Here it is, I have a machine, a device, okay, a computer, and I connected them in network. I have a devices connected in the network. This is a symbolic representation of the devices are connected in the network. So it is a device A, just B, C, and D. Some name. To communicate between the devices, of course, the device required to be connected to network and that required an IP address, right? Now, in PCA, there is a data, means there is a folder which contains a data. Okay, this folder is shared through network, means through network we can access that data. For example, from PCB, you want to access this data through sharing. How they will access? First, we should know the ABC IP address. Okay, so you have to open the ABC IP address. Then you should know ABC username and password. You should know the username and password of ABC. Then once you given that details, PCA authenticate, and we can able to access this data. So what is meant by communication? Sharing of information, data, or resources, right? For example, I have a printer. I connected a printer through network. I have a printer. I connected printer through network. So to the PC2. You want to take a printout. You have to come to the DPC and you have to store your document and then you can take a printout. Right? You open the document in the DPC and you can take the printout. In case, if I share this printer through network, so I can access that printer through any system in the network. For example, from CPC, I want to access the printer. So I want to take a printout of a document from CPC only. Document is in CPC. I want to take it from CPC only. I don't want to go to DPC. See, the printer has to be shared from DPC and we can able to access from CPC. Right? So what you required again? DPC, IP address, username, and password. Okay. So then you have to go to sharing of DPC, access the printer, connect the printer through sharing, and when you given a print, select that printer, give print. The print job will be go to the DPC, through DPC, it will go to the printer, then you got a printout. This is a communication. One second here. Hello. Okay. Sorry. So here in this model, we connected a system to the network, and we are sharing the data from other system. Okay. We are sharing a printer, so then other systems can access that printer. Right. Here we do not have any centralized control. Individual devices, no centralized authentication, no centralized specific type of device. There is no print server is there. Okay, we are not using any print server here. We are not using any storage server or file server here. Okay, so all system are individual system only. Without knowing their username, password, we can't able to access their data. We can't able to access their printer, right? So this model we call it as peer-to-peer model. Also, we can say it is work group model. Work group model means individual pieces are connected in the network, one system to another system. Peer-to-peer means one-to-one. One system access information, another one provide that information in that particular instance only. No centralized control, no centralized service providing here. Okay, so this is peer-to-peer model. Example, I have a remote server. So there is a machine, okay, in my network, okay. A desktop is there. It contains some data. So that is their IP address. I went to the run command. So I've opened run / the remote machine IP address. Enter. So they're sharing data. So printer, okay, and this is other folders. For example, I want to get some data, like I want to access some data. So it is in the shared folder, software folder. Where is this folder? In this specific system. Okay. So I want to access some information. I want to take that information. Or maybe I want to download that information to my PC. Or maybe I want to edit that information. Okay. I want to edit it. Or I want to upload some files from my system. For example, this is the data in my system. I want to copy and put it into this system. So we can see this is in my drive. See D drive, OS directory. So yeah, this is RPM is also good. But I'm going to copy this small file. Okay. So this remote system, software folder. See, it's in a different system. So now the file is copied to another system. I need to use any pen drives or any other thing. Simply through network, I transfer file from my system to other system. But other system not a file server. Okay, not a storage server or file server. No software required. Simply we are accessing it through network and we are storing it. Simple sharing of folder. Okay. So these are other shared folders. You can see there are other shared folders. This is a printer which is connected to that system. So if I right click and click on a connect, what will happen? So this printer drivers will be loaded into my system. So then I can able to take a printout. Okay, I already connected. So if I open any documents here, small document, anything. Yeah. For example, I want to take a printout of this document. So Control P, select that printer. See, this is that printer location. Which location, which server, which machine the printer is connected. That system IP address, remote system IP address, printer name. Okay, printer sharing name. Click on a print. The print will be getting from that printer automatically. So this information sent to this server machine, and from there it will go to the printer. I will get a printout from the printer. The sharing of print. Okay. So what is this? What I done is a peer-to-peer kind. The remote system is not a print server, not a storage server. Just till I'm able to access it. Of course, when I'm accessing it is not asking any username and password, because first time when I'm accessing in my system, the remote system related username password is stored. First time I given that user password. Okay. So that's it is already stored in my system. We can able to access. You want to check it, you can go to control panel. Okay. If any possible, I will try to show, but where is the credential manager? This is a credential managers. The credential managers will store that related information. See, that remote system, username and password is stored in my system. If I don't want it, if I remove this information from here, so next time I'm connecting, it will ask you username and password. Okay. So, when first time I'm accessing, it asks username and password. I given username and password, it's stored in our system only. Okay. Where you can able to see that information, go to control panel, credential manager. Okay, this is Windows related credentials. So that's why it is storing it. All my Windows system related credentials stores in this one. Like it's like a password library. Okay, it's a kind of username password library, a kind of stuff that is credential manager. The credential username password stores here. Even keys, also tokens, keys, like you see GitHub. Okay, the GitHub related username password is also stored. Yesterday only I got updated. I connected again to my GitHub. So that username password is stored. So next time I don't need to give password. So directly I can connect it GitHub from my system. Okay. So like that. So my application related passwords. Okay. Mail ID password like that will be stored in a credential manager. Now you change the password is got changed. I can edit it also. I can edit the username password from here, or I can remove it if no longer required. Okay. This is web credentials, so web related connectivity related passwords. Okay. That's why it did ask you, but generally it will ask. So I'm connecting remote desktop, right? So when I use the remote desktop, it definitely will ask every time it store the username, but password it will ask. I have to give the password because I didn't store that password. This is a remote desktop, that remote system. There. It's not in my system. This is that remote desktop. So you see, this is also no remote desktop server is there. So it's directly connected from my system to that remote system. To close the connection. So again, I open MS. Okay. Remote desktop connection. Okay. So that computer name or a IP address, username. So these are information. Always ask for credentials. When I click on connect, it asks for the password. But that's system not in my domain. I have to give again that username and passwords properly. Then I will get connected. This is encrypted certificate. So now I'm able to access that system. I can access whatever I want to do on this system. Okay. Yes, this is about a peer-to-peer or work group. Peer-to-peer is a kind of work group model. sharing of information, data, resources between two or more systems without any centralization, no centralized control there. Okay. Again, one more point. A system act like a server, others act like a client. Act like a client. There is no permanent server client relationship is here. So when I'm accessing the data from there, so that device, the remote device is providing data, sharing the data. So they are providing data, like it's like a server because it's providing. I'm accessing. It's like I'm a client. I'm accessing printer. It is the remote device providing print related connectivity. Printer related connectivity. I'm sharing the printer. So from there, I'm accessing the printer. If it is not sharing, then I can't able to access it. Right? Simple. That's it. Okay. So I'm not a client. That is not a server, but still I'm able to access because in that particular instant when I'm accessing the print, so that time it is like a server. I'm like a client. So that's it is a system act like a server, other act like a client. Okay. In that particular instance, in that particular time only, that is a peer-to-peer. Generally, peer-to-peer means already said a point-to-point, peer-to-peer, one to another one. Okay, to access the information, data, or resources. So they will communicate without any centralization. No centralized authentication system or not a permanent server kind of stuff. Okay, got it? Next is server and client model. In this model, there is a server. Okay, there is a server. The server can be any type of server. It can be a web server or mail server, or maybe it is a authentication server or VPN server, right? It can be a database server. It is a server. This server provide a services. What is server will do? Server provide a service to their clients. The client systems, the client will access the services. Server provide a service, client access the services. Exactly say the client requests for that specific service. So server respond to that request. For example, this server is a simple web server. Simply it is a web server. So I'm sending a HTTP or HTTPS request from the client, from my web browser. The server understand your request, HTTP request, and it provide a HTTP response. It's exactly say not like this. This is request. Okay. Yesterday also we discussed, right? Outlook. You want to send a mail, what you use for a mail server, SMTP request. You want to receive mails, right? That is POP3 or IMAP request you will send. So server understand what request you send, HTTP request. So if server is a web server, then definitely it will respond to you. So based on what is your request, HTTP request, it will give you HTTP response. Okay. So here for all these system, server is always a server only. Okay, a centralized server. Not in this particular instance, it is always a server. It always provided that related service only. That is a server and client. Okay. Server provide a service, client accesses service. Web server provide a web pages. It means web server provide, so the web server contains web pages. Web server provide the web services from client. means from your web browser, you're accessing the web pages from the web server. So you're sending web related request, means HTTP or HTTPS request we're sending from client to server. The web server understand what is your request, HTTP request or HTTP request. It provides that related response, HTTP response. So that's why we can say, we are saying that client request for a service to the server, server send response to the client. But how they will understand what is the request from the server? Sorry, what is the request from the client? Or what is the response from the server? How they will understand? By the protocol. So we'll also discuss about a protocol in networking. Okay. HTTP, HTTPS, FTP, TFTP, SSH, Telnet, RDP, right? Kerberos, LDAP, SMTP, POP3, IMAP, NTP, SNMP. So different protocols and also some their port numbers we discussed. So server and client understand what is that request, what is that related service, what kind of service. Okay. Example, I'm sending a HTTP request to my remote server. It is not giving any response right now. Why it is not giving any response? Because it's not a web server, it is just a desktop system. Of course, in that one, there are a lot of services are running. We can also use that services. Sorry, one more machine is there, that is dot 107 8006. Yeah, HTTP, it is HTTPS. Why it is not showing? IP address changed or what? Yeah, it is fine. I put a wrong IP address. This is another remote server. It is. Okay. And this is a Proxima's virtualization server. Using this Proxima's virtualization server, we can create virtual machines. Okay. This is a remote virtual machine thing. So I can able to log in. I can able to work on these virtual machines. So here so I created two virtual machines. This is I created. I think this is Moses are created it. Okay, I can manage it from here. This one can through web. I'm accessing that server. Web-based access. I have to log out. Sorry. Okay. So I'm just currently I'm not having any web servers in my system. Maybe I'm trying to set up one mail server, but not completed. It is it's got updated also. Okay. So see, this is SSH protocol. Okay, SSH. I given the remote machine IP address. Okay, port number is 22. SSH. Click OK to access that machine. So I'm accessing that machine from here. This is the machine I'm accessing through web. This is a Linux machine which I'm currently accessing through web, through SSH. Okay. Application is mobile external. I can use putty, but I like a mobile external more. Okay, the looking is good. That's why. Of course, there is some other features also there in the mobile external. That's why I'm using. I'm connecting that machine from my system. Okay, so what I'm saying it is, the point is, guys, here it is, different types of communications, different protocols we use it. Different types of communication, we use different protocols. Okay, for different types of services, we are asking different types of communications, means based on that who is providing that related services. So we are communicating that service server, like you are accessing a web server because it is providing web services. We are accessing a mails from the mail server because it is providing mail services. Okay, so we are accessing a database server because it is providing database related services. Right? To access that related services, we should use that related protocols or port numbers. Then only we can able to access. That's the point. So the devices means like a client and server understand what is the type of communication they are using by the protocol. For example, there is a web server, but you send a SMTP request, you won't get any response. There is a mail server, you send SMTP request, then that related response, you will get it. Okay, so that's the point. So which server, what service, what protocol, is it is there, right? Depends. Right? A server called as a particular server based on service it providing. What service it is providing? Based on what service it is providing, we call that server as a that server. So I'm keep on telling web server, mail server, right? Web server provide web related services. That's why we call that one as a web server. Mail server provide mail related services. Database server provide database related services, right? So based on what service it is providing, we call it as that server only. That with that name only we are calling. Print server provide print related services. Okay. Next point. I have a machine. Okay. Someone put a message. Okay, Arshita. Okay. Next one. So I showed some servers, right? This is my server. This is my server. I keep on showing, right? This is also one Linux machine. Okay, like that, I have a multiple Linux machines are there. My machines, even Windows servers are there, Linux servers are there. So different machines are I'm having. Okay, different machines provide different type of services. Okay, different machines provide different type of services. Depends upon, but how they can able to provide that particular type of services. For example, I have this specific machine. So, which is this machine actually. So I'm accessing from this terminal. See, this is the machine name. Look at this machine name. Okay. So just now, before lunch break only, I installed the Java, uh, Java 21 JDK installed it. Okay. It does not mean it's a Java server. Okay. Yeah, it's successfully installed. But I have to add into the environmental variables. Okay. So purpose of this server is for a sonar cube purpose. Okay, sonar cube is a code quality checker. Means if I have a program code, it will check their quality. Okay, that is a sonar cube. Just for a testing purpose. Another server which is I showed to you, I want to make it as a mail server. Okay, this is I want to make it as a mail server. I have a lot of servers are there. Even in here also, I can able to show you one this machine. This is I installed Jenkins. So enter CI by CD Jenkins purpose. So different servers, different machines for different services purpose. Where are we? Yeah. No. But how it is become? It means how this servers becomes a specific type of servers. So that's the point. By installing and configuring its built-in roles or features, or by installing server specific application or packages and configuring it, that server become butler server. Okay. What I said. So I showed one mail server, right? So how can I make it as a mail server? So I have to install the mail server application. So generally I use Tomcat or a postfix. I try to use a new one that is called Mail. Okay, so that's what I'm researching now. So how to install this Mail, how to configure it. My favorite is Zimbra, but I try Mail. So if it is successful, then we can use it officially. Okay, but thing is, it's a point is, so how can I make that as a mail server by installing mail server applications and configure it. It become mail server. I have a machine. Then I installed a Apache HTTPD or NGINX or Tomcat. So by installing on any of these packages or applications, it become it becomes a web server. I have a Windows server. I installed a MS Exchange application. Then it is become mail server. I have a Windows server. I installed IIS built-in role, IIS role, Internet Information Service role, web server role in the Windows server. It become web server. So thing is, we have a server operating system, install and configure that server built-in roles or features, or by installing an application, or by installing the particular packages, configure it. It's become that butler server. Okay. So that machine is started as it's running now. A few days back, it is also not working, but luckily it is working now. So it is the Linux machine. I'm checking its IP address 95. Okay. Still, I think I installed the web inside. Correct only. Should I make it as a Tomcat server? So today, nothing, no helpful from any side. No HTTPD. It's a web server. This is the web page. But how this we got the web page in the first place by remote connection. because it's a view wise, it is good. Okay. It contains lot of things. Okay. The point is what I'm trying to say, at slash etc slash. So this is the web page in that file. See, welcome to Ansible. Okay, welcome to Ansible. That is my web page. If I change it, or if I add something to it, then also it will be changed. So that is a web content. Okay. I install Apache HTTPD application inside. Okay, just refresh. Why it is not showing? I done correct only. Sorry, I done a mistake. Insert. So it's a static web server. See? So what request? HTTP request. It's not showing that one, but it's HTTP request. Okay. So that system understand when I send a HTTP request, the server understand that request and provide that related web page. Okay, if you have any separate pages, web pages inside, also you can try. I do not have any extra pages. If you have any other page, then also you can able to do that. Okay, that is enough. Yeah, we can make it. One second. I'm going to change some few things here. Doing small difference for us. So when I ask an index page, it is showing that one. But now I'm asking like HCL.html. Okay, see, earlier that page is not existing. Now in the server it is there. So I send HTTP request and to the server. First is HTTP request, HTTP. Then IP address to which system you want to go. So with the IP address, I go to that system. Then I ask HTTP. So then it is connected to that web server services. And I ask HCL.html. Where is HTML.html? Then it will send that one as a response. For example, I'm sending cts.html, not found. So in my URL, see, I reached the server, HTTP request. Okay, so it reaches the server, web services, and ask for the cts.html. That page is not available. I got the error message. Like this. Okay, so that is how that is understand by protocol. Okay, next. And how it is become a web server by installing web server in application side. I install Apache HTTP. I install into that server, so it is able to provide web pages. This is my part. Okay, so yeah, that's enough. Okay, server and client both will understand about that communication. What is that type of communication by protocols? Okay, and server is become a specific type of server. So web server, mail server, DHCP server, DNS server, VPN server, like that. How it is become a specific type of server? By how it is become a specific by installing and configuring the server built-in roles or an application or packages. Okay, so then it is become the particular type of server. So what service it is providing, based on that we are calling that server, web server, mail server, like that. Okay. For everyone, it is completely new, guys, so no problem. Okay, just try to understand. This is very important in the future. You want to learn anything related to the system administration side or maybe cloud administration side also, it is very useful information. Okay. And of course, for your interior. So what is meant by server? You can just simply what is server and client, or explain peer-to-peer. What is workgroup model? Okay. Tell me some types of servers. Done? Type of server. When you got this question, types of servers. So there's three differentiation. The very first one is important one is based on the services. Based on the services. Web server, mail server, DHCP server, DNS server, domain controller means authentication server, deployment server, update servers, VPN servers, storage servers, database servers, okay, like virtualization server, like so many different types of servers are there. You know, I showed something in earlier, there is a Jenkins server. Okay. Jenkins server is a CI by CD server. Continuous integration, continuous deployment server it is. Okay. So like different types of servers are there. How they will become that specific type of server? By installing and configuring that their built-in roles or features or applications or packages. It is become that particular type of server. For example, you want to make a web server. Yeah, okay, if it is a Microsoft server operating system, your built-in role is Microsoft IIS role. Okay, or if you install any machine, let's say you install Apache HTTP or Tomcat, Glassfish, NGINX. So it is become web server and application servers. Like Tomcat and Glassfish generally application servers. Which protocols they work on this service? What is the service related? HTTP, HTTPS. File server. Again, you take a machine, install FTP related services, either built-in role or a VSFTP, SFTP, FTP, related packages or applications inside, it become FTP server. Okay. So, what is the purpose of file server, FTP server? You can upload and download the files from the FTP server, centralized. DHCP server. So, what is DHCP server will provide? An IP address to your system. You take a machine, install a DHCP server, built-in role or a package, and configure it, it becomes DHCP server. So, purpose of DHCP server is um, it provides an IP address. So your system don't have an IP, you will get it from the DHCP server, right? Okay. DHCP server assign or configure IP address to their client system automatically. So our client will send DHCP request. Our client will send DHCP request to the DHCP server. DHCP server understand the client required an IP address. So the DHCP server provide an IP address to the client. Next, DNS server, name resolution server it is. Okay, name resolution. Same, you have a DNS server and you want an IP address of a particular system. You know their name, but you don't know their IP address. You send a DNS request. I want an IP address of www.google.com. Then DNS server will check the records and provide that information to your IP address of google.com. Domain controller, okay, or authentication server. You know, in organizations, in your laptop, in your personal laptop, you have your own laptop, your username, password, authenticated by your laptop only. No centralization. It is a work group models only. Your all systems, personal systems. In organization, we have a centralized authentication. If I'm logging to my laptop, I put my username and password. Who is going to authenticate? My centralized server, domain controller it is. It is the authentication server. Okay. I'm accessing some resources like a printer, net printer. So centralized authentication. Can I access that printer or not? Who is going to verify username and password is centralized server. That's it is authentication server. In last class, we told VPN. So your VPN server receive a request from a user for VPN connectivity. So it will send to authentication server. It send that request to authentication server, verify the user. Verify the username, password is correct or not. Yes. Then authorize the user, means is allowed to connect it through VPN or not. Verify the VPN allow access list or not. Okay, authentication and authorization. One is Active Directory, domain controller, AAA servers, radius server. These are all authentication servers only. WDS, Windows Deployment Server. You know, you want to install OS in a machine. You need a DVD, CD, DVD, or pen drive. Connect it, then we install the OS, right? But in organizations, we have more number of systems. We don't keep on that CD, DVD, or a pen drive kind of stuff. We don't keep it always for a voice installing voice. What we do, if we have a centralized server, in that one, what are all Windows operating system, we store in that one. We connect it to network, install the voice through network. Okay. So like at a time, multiple devices also we can install the OS. That is WDS server. WSUS server. I didn't mention there, but WSUS server. Windows Server Update Services. What is this WSUS server? We are getting updates, right? For our laptop, we generally regularly are getting an updates. So when update is available, then we click on then updated. Okay. So when you are going to shut down, it asks update and restart or update and shut down, right? So you're getting updates directly from Microsoft. Okay. Now in organizations, you have a lot of people are there. So everybody is getting updated in the same day, same time. In case, what happened? So lot of data is loaded. One complete update, maybe it is 1 GB. Think like a complete update download is 1 GB. I have 100 members are there. 100 members are downloading same update file from internet. Same time. Means 100 GB data is downloading through network. So it's very dangerous, so much of load on the network. Right? So what we do? We keep a server and we specify what kind of updates should be downloaded. So we download all updates to the single server. From that server, we are updated to all our machines. Okay, our machines will get updated from that server only. That is update servers. This is very important, guys. Maybe if in your work, one of the work is patch management, means you have to update remote servers based on the requirement. Okay, depends certain projects required. So you have to update the remote machines. Okay, Linux servers or Windows servers or IBM servers. You have to do update or upgradation regular basis. You have to do it. Okay, it's called patch management. To do that one, we use Windows Update Services, SCCM, System Center Configuration Manager, or a Endpoint Manager is there. That's we are using it. Name change. Yeah, we know the mail servers, right? Purpose is for sending and receiving mails. Mail server stores mails in their mailboxes. So if you are sending a mail, so SMTP for receiving, POP3 or IMAP we are using. That's a mail server, mail related process. So Microsoft Exchange application is a mail server application. Other than that one, Zimbra, Squirrel Mail, Tomcat, Postfix, so many other mail servers also available. This is a container-based mail server. I read mail, Stalwart, mail in a box, Maddie, okay, mail cow. These are all different mail servers. Okay. Just install that application, configure it. Some are licensed, some are may not be licensed. You know the VPN server, so you want to connect your remote infrastructure from your home or from your branch office. You do not have a leased lines, so then we can use through VPN server. First, you have to connect to the VPN server. VPN server, you authenticate, authorize, then establish a secured connectivity using tunneling protocols between VPN server to your computer. So you can able to access your organization network and network related resources. Storage servers. Different storage servers are there. NAS type of storages, SAN type of storage management is there. In NAS, we use a protocol CAFS, NFS, like a shared folder type. NAS boxes. We can store our data into the NASes in this file-wise. Like I showed a shared folder. Similarly, we can store your data into the file-wise, like backups and data we can able to store. SAN is a enterprise level centralized storage management server. Okay, same. It is also to store your data, but in a block-wise storage device. It is storage solution. Database server. Yeah. I have a remote machine. I install a Oracle DB application. Then it is become Oracle database server. If I install Microsoft SQL Server application, it's become SQL Server. If I install my SQL Server, then it is my SQL database server it is. So I have to connect to the database server and log in with my user credentials, create a databases, tables, Okay, and I can also connect the database to my applications like virtualization server. Just before I log into a virtualization server, that is Proximox server it is. So we have a different hypervisors. These hypervisors we install directly on the physical machines, physical servers. No OS inside. Okay. These hypervisors are not application hypervisor. Directly is like a OS type only, but little different from regular OSs. So we install into the directly in physical machines. Then we can create virtual machines in that physical machines. Okay. So what are those hypervisors? Microsoft Hyper-V server from VMware, ESXi. From Citrix, it is Zen server. Proximox VE. From Red Hat Enterprise Virtualization. These are the different hypervisors you install in a physical machine. Then we can connect to the physical machine remotely and create and run the virtual machines. Just before I showed Proximox V, right? So that is again. See, this is a Proximox machine that's connected in our network. So local access purpose only, you can't access directly. And you can look at there is a virtual machine is created. In this virtual machine, we installed some LMS software inside. So then we can able to access that. So I created a virtual machine. In that one, I will install a software. So then it is become a LMS server. Okay. So we can create a multiple virtual machines in this single physical server. So that's what we call it as virtualization server. Okay. Not only guys, there's a lot of different servers also available. Some again, web server, file server, DHCP server, DNS server, mail server, VPN server, storage server, database server, virtualization server. Like that, you can update servers, antivirus servers, WSUS servers, update servers, deployment servers, authentication servers, like different types of servers. Okay, got it? Understand, guys? Any confusion? As I said, we installed and configure the built-in roles or features or an application or maybe a package and configure it. So then it's become particular server. But where you are installing these things, where you find these built-in roles, where you find installing an application, that supported operating system is also required, right? So that is our server operating systems. In server OS, Windows Server Operating System. Current version is 2025, sorry. Current Windows Server version is 2025. Okay, previously 2022, 2019, 2016, 2012, 28, okay, 2023, sorry, 23, sorry, 2003, 2020. So different Windows Server are released. These servers has built-in roles and features. As I said earlier, Active Directory, DHCP, DNS, IIS, FTP, okay, routing and remote access for VPN. Routing and remote access are routing access. Remote access are a routing and remote access. Like that. So we have a different WDS, WSUS, like different roles and features are there. By installing it, and we can make it as a specific type of server in this Windows server. Also, you can install different applications like MS SQL, SCCM, um, Microsoft Exchange applications, or SharePoint applications. So then it is become that related Butler server. Next, Linux. Linux is not any OS, it is okay. Linux based operating systems also. Fedora, Debian, Ubuntu, CentOS, okay, Oracle Enterprise Linux, Red Hat Enterprise Linux. So different Linux flavored operating systems are Kali Linux, Unix, HPUX, Solaris, AIX, AS by 400, Z by OS. So different Unix based operating system used for different purposes, different servers, physical hardware. So these are the different server operating system. From Windows Server, different versions are there. Current version is 2025. In Linux, different distributions are there in a Linux. So different organizations come and take in a Linux kernel and developed and distributed it. Like Oracle Linux, Red Hat Enterprise Linux, Red Hat Company and Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Okay, Fedora, Debian, CentOS, all these things are a different Linux distributions or flavors. Unix. Unix also not direct up. There is no direct Unix OS. It is from Unix based OS like Solaris, HP, UX, AX. Like these are Unix based operating system. Even Linux is also from Unix. And earlier one point I told now, so virtualization service. So virtualization service means directly it is a hypervisor can install into a physical machine and it is become a server. Yeah. Yeah. So what we say virtualization. So, getting bore again. These are not, we are not installing on any server devices because these are hypervisors. Directly we can install into a physical machine. So that is become that specific virtualization server like Proxmox VE virtualization server, Red Hat Enterprise virtualization server, Citrix Zen servers, VMware ESXi. While installing, it becomes that particular server. So you can able to create and run the virtual machines. Next, you are having an application. So where are we? What is the first thing we discuss in the servers about a application or a built-in role by installing and configuring it. So it is server able to provide that related services, right? If you install Apache HTTP and configure it, it become our machine is become the machine is become a web server, right? Application range, application package, built-in roles wise we are discussed. Next, to run that applications, generally what we required is server related voice. Server applications we run on the server operating system. Like a Windows server or Linux based servers and OS. So we discussed OS also. Now, to run this operating system and your server applications, we need a hardware. You need a hardware. For server purpose, hardware means same component, CPU, RAM, hard disk, everything is same. but with different form factors, sizes, capacities, because server has to run 24/7. Your desktop or laptop will run for a specific period of time only in a day, morning to evening. At least by night, we'll close it, right? 24/7, we are not using. But servers has to run for 24/7. It means their hardware capacity is also higher, stable, long run, it can able to provide. Next. So about what is this hardware? Generally use Xeon processor, Xeon processor. Okay. From Intel, Xeon processor, it is high capacity. And processor server motherboards, their form factors, number of slots on the motherboards. Normally our desktop laptop, one physical server, we can able to install it. Right? But in a server motherboard, depends upon server hardware. So you can insert one or more than one servers also you can install it. I have one server I have taken recently, but I have to work on it. So it's a old server. So we can able to put two physical servers in it, 8 RAMs on it also. Already 4 RAMs are inserted, 4 more RAMs I can able to insert in it. Okay. But DDR3 models only. One more server, that's I showed one server by Proxima server, it is 4 RAM slot, single process slot. Depends. In this, we have three models: tower server, rack server, blade servers. Tower server, rack servers, blade servers. Tower servers are look like a desktop, but it is larger the size, more number of RAMs you can insert it. Certain tower servers having a built-in SCSI or SAS connector is there. Means we can insert multiple SCSI disk inside. Okay. Multiple cable connectivity means uh, multiple LAN port connectivity, multiple SMPS power supply connectors also there in the tower servers. Simply the difference is tower servers. So we want to see the tower server like so who is prefer these tower servers? Who is going to need a tower servers? This small organization, for them, they need a 2, 3 servers with simple way. So then they can go for a tower servers. Each tower is a one single server. It depends upon the tower server model. You have a facilities. Means multiple RAM slots, multiple CPU slots, multiple disk slots also available, and other features. Next one is rack server. This is a rack server. One rack, one server model it is. So we can insert these rack servers, rack server or rack mount server. Okay. This is a rack server which is inserting and removing. These rack servers also available in different capacity bus. Okay. One server, difference between tower and rack is space utilization. Number of cables will be reduces and space also utilized. Your organization is not a medium, it is high level, means higher level organization required to run multiple applications in different servers. Then we go with the tower servers, rack servers. But similar capacity like a tower server. Tower server occupy more space, more cabling. Rack servers, less cabling, less space occupations. Same capacity means multiple disk capacities depends upon the rack servers. Next is blade server. What is a blade server? Here it is, you can see. This guy is inserting a blade. Blade. This is a blade server. One blade, one server. One blade, one server. Means each blade contains processor, RAMs, and storages like SSDs. But it is not powerful as tower server or rack server because storage capacity wise lesser. Okay. And these blades are mainly for your organization, computational means computing is very important. Processing is more important than storing. So we use blade servers. But what about the storage? So it don't support heavy storage. So basic storage for support is it, but not for heavy storage. So you can able to store the data into SAN. Okay, this is a rack. And this rack contains multiple blade servers. Okay, multiple blade servers. These are all storage arrays, not storage arrays. So there are a kind of rack. So these racks will be inserted directly into their rack stands. You can also try in YouTube. What is the difference between blade server, rack server, and tower servers? So what are the advantages of these servers? What is how to check their capacities? This is about how it is look like hardware wise, physical appearance, physical type. Last one, guys, data center. After that, we'll take a break and then we'll continue with the work group and domain and other things. Data center. So in data centers means what? It contains servers. The data center contains different servers. Tower servers, blade servers, rack servers. In generally, rack or a blade servers on there. The data center. Okay. In these servers, different types of applications are running. Okay. In the servers, in the data center, there is a servers. Means mail server, DHCP server, DNS server, web servers. Okay. Virtualization servers. It's a different type of servers are running in the data center with a different applications are server related applications are installed and configured. That is server. Okay, you want to connect these servers, we need a networking devices. Okay, UTP, STP type connectivity or fiber optical type connectivity. Okay, switches, routers, firewalls, these are all we are using inside the voice or IP related servers, their PBX boxes, different storage devices, storage types wise available. Okay. SCSI storage devices, SAS devices, normal SATA hard disks, SSDs, different storage devices. This are there. Storage models like SAN, NAS type of storage models, iSCSI storage, concept, RAID controllers, okay, logical volume management, storage management solution it is. So this is about what is your data set. So you must provide a power supply and cooling system to your data set. Okay. This is a small data center. You can see there is a lot of servers are there. Okay. So these are all different servers, including this is a storage arrays. Okay. And you require to continuously monitor your server to make sure all the server component servers are running in your data center or not. Okay, so this is about your data set. Nowadays, your cloud, you're accessing cloud, right? That is, so cloud service provider maintain the related data centers in their organizations. Okay. So these are all important. What is the peer-to-peer, server and client, and what are the different type of servers? What are the different type of servers? So as I said, we'll take a break, then we'll go to work group and domain.